Hello students, welcome back to your English session. So here I am with a very famous story of Kate Chopin, her first party, part 2. In the last session we came to know about the author Kate Chopin, who was an American author and best known for her short stories and novels, with women as the central character. Here also in the story we find Millie as the central character of her story. Children, Kate Chopin was a feminist, as I told you, and she raised her voice through her writing for the sake of women in the society. And the story is also reflecting the same. So let's proceed. In part 1, we came to know about the character of Millie, that she is the protagonist of the story, the main character, and she was very much excited to join a party, a college party, because it was the very first party of her life. So she was very much excited, and a single thought of any interruption or disturbance in going to the party made Millie sickened. On the other hand, we came to know about her aunt's sickness, who was living far away from her house and very loving to her mother. Millie received a letter from her aunt. So let's see what happens next. She crept into the quiet parlor and sat there undisturbed, staring at the outside of her Aunt Jane's letter. As I told you that she received a letter from Aunt Jane, so she was just staring at it. What could be there in the letter? Will it be all okay? Or will it be something sad to listen or sad to know which could disturb her party plan? Her fingers seemed to feel for the annoyance which that sealed envelope might cover. Her eyes seemed to penetrate and unveil the threat against her longed for and looked for pleasure. So children, here Millie was imagining different things before opening the letter, that the letter may carry some good news or bad news. Will it spoil her plan to go to the party, or will it be all okay? What difference would a day make? She is questioning herself. She turned and turned the letter about. What difference could a day make? None, whatever, as Millie counted days. Yet she could feel her heart thump with guilty excitement as she slipped the letter into her pocket. So what Millie has done? What was the guilty excitement? We know that Millie was very much excited to go to the party. And now as she received a letter from her aunt who was very sick, she slipped that letter into her pocket without opening it. She then went on upstairs and laid the mail in the usual place upon the sitting room table, glad that her mother was not there. She was very happy that her mother was not there to open that mail. At the moment, to unmask her shame-faced consciousness. It was a hateful occurrence. Really, it was very hateful occurrence that threw a damper upon the joy. Millie actually was not wishing anything to come in between her and the party. During the school hours, the letter concealed in her pocket seemed like a live thing, a reptile, a slimy thing, when her hand accidentally encountered it. During the school hours, when Millie's hand touched the letter in her pocket, she was feeling the letter as if it is not a letter, but it seemed a very dangerous thing, like a snake, slimy thing, reptile, like a snake. So she was not feeling very good for it. She almost made up her mind to deliver it to her mother when she returned at 3 o'clock. She has almost made her mind that she will give this letter to the mother. Oh, but the merry time ahead. What chatter! But this is the time of going to the party. What chatter! Like the twittering sparrows among the russet leaves as the girls walked home beneath the trees. So, Millie was very much excited to go to the party in the evening. She was listening that every girl was very excited talking about the party. What breathless chatter of gowns, of hair ornaments, of slippers and fluttering ribbons. But Milly knew there was nothing that would compare with the pink and white cloud floating beneath the chandelier in her room. Now, Milly lost in the world of imagination. She was imagining about the party chatters, about the gowns of the girls, about the hair ornaments, the slippers, different outfits. But finally, she thought that her party dress, which was in pink and white combination and hanging beneath the chandelier in her room, would be the best one. With that excitement, proceeded. Eagerness returned and nothing marred it, not even the sight of her mother's face, perplexed with an uneasy sadness. So Millie was very much excited. She didn't want to look at any of the sad things, even not her mother's face, which was looking quite sad due to the sickness of her aunt residing far away. Bob was distinctly proud of his pretty sister when she stood outside for household inspection that night. But he would have considered it an unpardonable weakness to say so. You will do, Milly. Rub some of the paint off your cheeks. Oh, what a joke! Kitty the maid howled at the humour of it. You will be after telling her to take the sparkle out of her shining eyes next, Mr. Bob. Go away with it. Milly, in a joyous state, turned like a snow window robot while the gentle mother enveloped her in a fleecy white cape, brought to light for the occasion from the relic trunk. There have been thousands of parties exactly like that one, but no one could have made Milly believe so. What applause at her recitation! What slide-splitting laughter over the charades! What a hush of appreciation over the beautiful tableaux! And then the attentions of college boys. The compliments, the mountains of ice cream, the islands of sponge cake, the running river of lemonade, and blah blah blah. So here we are finding Millie so excited about the parties that she lost in the world of imagination. Millie's excitement held her all the way home. Clinging to Bob's arm, her little nervous steps kept a dancing pace to his unthinking stride. It followed her to her very pillow. Now Millie was so excited, lost in the imagination, how the evening means how she is going to wait till evening. But there, before she closed her eyes, a lull came upon her senses. The joy all melted out of her soul, and the vision of a letter held sway in her dreams all through the night. So, with that excitement and the mixed emotion of sadness, what could be there in the letter made Milly slept, but a lull came upon her senses. The joy all melted out of her soul, and the vision of a letter held sway in her dreams all through the night. In her dreams, all through the night, the letter was there who was making Milly more and more scared. There was nothing haphazard in the fact that Milly stationed herself upon the front steps the following morning. She was pale, Why she was pale? Because she was very nervous. Something had, as Bob would have said, rubbed the paint off her cheeks, and that same something had taken the sparkle out of her eyes and left in its stead a dull anxiety. Why she was anxious? Because anything could make her plan of party spoil. She was waiting for the postman. When he handed her the scanty mail, she added to the pile the letter in her pocket and carried it directly to her mother, who sat at the sitting room table, bending over some sewing. Milly did not withdraw, but stood there. She did not withdraw, but stood there, watching at a little distance somehow. How she was not startled when the letter trembled in her mother's hand, when the tears gathered and fell upon the fluttering sheets. "What is it, mother?" Milly asked in a dry voice, and did not sound to her like her own. She darted forward and with an encircling arm drew her mother's head against her throbbing heart. "What is it, mother dear? What makes you cry?" "Your Aunt Mildred cannot recover. The doctors have given her up. I'm going. I must go to her," rising with agitation and clasping Milly's closely. Now mother was in a very sad mood, as the letter carried a message that her sister is not going to recover and doctors are failed. So she was planning to go. Who? Milly's mother. "You never had a sister, my sweet child. You cannot know." So mother was feeling very low and telling Milly about her emotions for her sister. Between the broken sobs, crying bitterly. "A favorite sister. We were everything to each other until we married." So here her mother was telling that how favorite her sister was to her, and now she is feeling very low and sad for her health. Jane was not the same. Jane, the aunt of Milly. She was older and stern. "I must go," said Kitty, letting go of the trembling girl. "I must get ready at once. God grant I find her alive." So mother was praying that she should find her sister alive. From the time the train left the station bearing her mother away, Milly became the prey of a feverish restlessness. So Milly was prey of feverish restlessness means Milly became very restless and sad. All her excitement swept away. It was Saturday and there was no school. She walked alone far out into the suburbs, walked rapidly as if her own motion might hasten the flying wheels of the engine. All her thoughts were concentrated in the reiteration. Reiteration is the repetition of thoughts. She will be there in so and so many hours and it will be all right. I mean, she was thinking the same thing that maybe, oh Lord God, my mother get her sister all right. She had seen her Aunt Mildred, but at rare intervals, and her sorrow was not active. Means she was not exactly feeling a lot of sorrow for her aunt because she met her very rarely. It was but the reflection of her mother's. All her thoughts were for her mother. In the house, going from one room to another, she watched the clocks, almost counting the slow seconds. At luncheon, Bob urged her to eat, but she could not. Milly was so worried and tensed that she could not eat even the lunch. She only poured the tea with cold hands, and her eyes brooding cast down upon the white cloth. In the afternoon, a telegram came, directed to her mother. Bob opened it and they read it together. Bob could not understand the wild paroxysm. Paroxysm is a sudden and strong feeling of emotions, one that cannot be controlled. So Bob cannot control her emotion of grief that seized upon her sister, that made of her of for hours a pitiable object of his solicitude. Solicitude, care for one another, people's safety, comfort, and emotion. He has not understood it to this day. He was not able to understand what is exactly happening to Millie, for it was not to Bob her confession was made, in abject contrition imploring. In abject contrition imploring, that is, this contrition is the state of feeling very sorry or guilty. Imploring is anxiously showing or asking. So, for it was not to Bob her confession was made, in abject contrition imploring the forgiveness which was not withheld. So, in any way, you can say that Millie was feeling so guilty and finding her forgiveness. Millie quite grown up by this time. Now, here we can see a mature Millie has been to many a party since then, but none was ever again like that one. Do you remember her the night of the party at College Hall when she recited, said an amiable chaperone, friendly older person, lifting her lorgnette. Lorgnette is an old-fashioned pair of glasses that you need hold in front of your eyes. One evening not long ago. It was not very long ago. It was just one evening ago. How excited Millie was, how sweet she was. Now she has been shown by the author a mature lady. How she has changed. What dignity, what quiet poise. But it seems to me she has lost something. Do you think so? Said a second amiable chaperone, with clearer eyes that needed no longer it. It seems to me she has gained something. Yes, she has gained the maturity, the sense, and the required emotions. So, this was all about Millie. Hopefully, you understood the explanation. Thank you for watching the video.